I will now call on Saleh Waziruddin to present.
Hi, thanks, Mayor and Council. I'm Saleh Waziruddin, a resident of St. Catharines. The problem with the resolution tonight, at least as it was in the original draft, is that it calls for Canada to give military support until a solution Ukraine wants, which is impossible because there's no military solution to this conflict. Except for rhetoric, most are saying it'll be a long war and there's no quick victory for either side in sight. The only realistic solution is a negotiated settlement, which means by definition it won't satisfy everything either side wants, but it's the only way to end the conflict. But the problem is bigger than just ending a long period of senseless slaughter between two countries. The conflict in Ukraine is not just about defending Ukraine. It's drawing most of the world into it, with NATO countries sending all the weapons they can spare and Iran supplying drones to Russia. The CIA said recently China is considering sending weapons to Russia. This conflict is not going to be contained any more than any world war has been. It's going to quickly suck everyone in. This is not about defending Ukraine any more than World War I was about defending Serbia or avenging Archduke Ferdinand's assassination. We have to look at the full picture of what a military escalation, which this resolution is urging, will do. World War II had 11 times the deaths in World War I, and World War III is going to be even worse. And this is happening fast. Japan has abandoned even the pretense of pacifism in its constitution and signed a military alliance with the UK, indirectly with NATO. U.S. Marines are deliberately going into China's missile umbrella. The U.S. has said any attack in space will be considered an attack on its allies. When I was a child, there was an anti-war song about 99 red balloons starting World War III. It's only taken one red balloon, maybe not the color red, to get the shooting started. When I spoke at Regional Council last year against escalation, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, founded by Albert Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer, among others, said we were at 100 seconds to doomsday. Now they're saying we're at 90 seconds. Professor Nouriel Roubini, who was on the White House Council of Economic Advisors under Clinton, said World War III has already started because it's broader than just Russia and Ukraine. Across, on the other side of the political spectrum, war hawk John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, has also said we're already in a world war. But his conclusion is the opposite of mine. He says, even though we're in a world war, what difference does it make? Let's go all in. On the peace side, we're saying that's very dangerous for the whole world. We should be putting out the fire engulfing the world, not inflaming it. The debate right now is whether to fully escalate further into World War III, saying Ukraine will lose if we don't, even if it goes on for years, or to choose peace and a negotiated end to the conflict. Peace through a negotiated settlement is not only realistic, and the groundwork's already been going on. Ukraine and Russia have already reached prisoner exchange agreements. Early on in the conflict, a former Israeli prime minister, acting as a go-between, said a peace deal was close at hand, but pressure from the West saying the war would be over quickly with a military escalation scuttled it. Well, the conflict's still going on a year later. President Zelensky has recently said he's interested in China's proposal for peace. We have to let that option go forward. But a negotiated settlement is not going to be to the satisfaction of either side. So this resolution calling for an end to the war in a way agreeable to one side really means a military solution. And again, that's not realistic. Only after this rapidly escalating war is brought to a negotiated end can further political settlements be reached peacefully. After decades of senseless killing in Ireland, they came to an agreement that didn't completely satisfy either side, but opened the door so that a final settlement would be arrived at peacefully and democratically, not through death and destruction. We who are calling for a realistic, peaceful solution as an alternative to a long world war are not alone. A poll that came out Friday for Post Media by Leisure says only a third of Canadians support military escalation, defining the poll as sending more military equipment or more Canadian troops training Ukrainians. There's also growing support in Canada for a negotiated peace. The resolution mentions the duty to stand for peace, freedom, and democracy. War for freedom and democracy, we've heard that one before 20 years ago, and that was one of the arguments used to invade Iraq. Look at how awful that turned out. Freedom and democracy can't be spread through war. We're hearing the same thinking again, as if we haven't learned. And peace does not mean war. That's doublespeak, and if you don't agree, you have to take that one up with George Orwell. Also, by the way, the city, as mentioned already in this meeting, has declared a climate emergency. Militaries are among the biggest polluters and have the biggest carbon footprints. You can't have it both ways. Instead, we should be urging the Canadian government to support a peaceful settlement. To quote a line from the movie Dr. Strangelove, let's face it, we don't want to start a nuclear war unless we really have to, do we? This city council needs to urge the government for a negotiated peace, not escalating a global conflict, quickly getting out of control. Thank you.